Hi everyone, I'm Jim and welcome back to Easy English. Today we're talking about something really special, Independence Day and national days around the world. Have you ever wondered why fireworks light up the sky on certain days? Or why entire cities throw massive parades with music, flags, and celebrations? Well, today you're going to find out. So what exactly is Independence Day or National Day? It's a day when a country celebrates something very important from its history, usually freedom, independence, or unity. Think of it as a country's birthday. Just like you celebrate your personal birthday every year, countries celebrate the day they became free or united as one nation. These celebrations are incredible to experience. Picture this: millions of people wearing their country's colors, streets filled with music and dancing, delicious traditional food everywhere, and spectacular fireworks displays that light up the entire night sky. It's like the whole country becomes one big party. But here's what makes these days so special. They're not just about having fun. They represent the struggles, hopes, and dreams of millions of people throughout history. When you see families gathering for barbecues on July 4th in America, or people wearing red and white maple leaf clothing in Canada, you're witnessing the celebration of freedom, democracy, and national pride. And here's something fascinating. Every country celebrates differently. Some countries focus on military parades showing their strength and unity. Others emphasize family gatherings, traditional music, and cultural festivals. Some have fireworks that last for hours, while others have community picnics in local parks. The variety is amazing. Now I want you to think about this. Does your country have a national day? What do people do on that day? Do families get together? Are there special foods everyone eats? Do people wear certain colors or wave flags? I'd love to hear about your experiences in the comments below. Today we're going to explore how 3 different countries celebrate their most important national days. We'll learn the history behind each celebration, discover the traditions that make each one unique, and pick up some useful English phrases you can use when talking about these special occasions. Here's what we'll cover. First, we'll visit the United States for their famous 4th of July Independence Day celebrations. Then we'll head north to Canada for their Canada Day festivities. Finally, we'll cross the Atlantic to France for their dramatic Bastille Day commemorations. By the end of this video, you'll understand not just what people do on these special days, but why these celebrations matter so much to millions of people around the world. Plus, you'll have learned some great English vocabulary and phrases for discussing national holidays and celebrations. Are you ready to explore these amazing celebrations with me? Let's start our journey. Let's start with probably the most famous Independence Day in the world, the American 4th of July. Here's the incredible story. Back in 1776, that's almost 250 years ago, 13 American colonies were under British rule. But the colonists were frustrated. Why? Because Britain was making all their laws and collecting their taxes, but the colonists had no voice in the British government. They felt this was completely unfair. So what did they do? On July 4th, 1776, representatives from these 13 colonies signed the Declaration of Independence. This was basically their way of saying to Britain, "We don't want to be your colonies anymore. We want to make our own laws and build our own country." It was an incredibly brave decision because it meant going to war against one of the most powerful countries in the world at that time. Now, imagine you're living in America today on July 4th. What would you see and hear? Let me paint you a picture that will blow your mind. The celebrations are absolutely spectacular. Early in the morning, you'd hear marching bands practicing in local parks. Main streets get blocked off for massive parades featuring everything from antique cars and military veterans to high school marching bands and local businesses showing off colorful floats. But here's what makes it truly special. The red, white, and blue is everywhere. People wear American flag t-shirts, shorts, and even funny hats shaped like Uncle Sam's top hat. Houses are decorated with bunting. Those are the red, white, and blue fabric decorations you see hanging from porches. Front yards have American flags waving proudly in the summer breeze. And the food? Oh my goodness. Families fire up their grills for classic American barbecues. We're talking hamburgers, hot dogs, corn on the cob, potato salad, and watermelon. Many families have traditional recipes they only make on July 4th. It's like the entire country is having one giant picnic. Essential July 4th phrases. Happy 4th of July. This is the standard greeting everyone uses. Let's watch the fireworks, because fireworks are the highlight of the evening. Fire up the grill, perfect for starting those backyard barbecues. God bless America, a patriotic expression you'll hear throughout the day. Land of the free, home of the brave. From the national anthem, very popular on this day. But here's the absolute best part: the fireworks displays. As darkness falls, cities across America put on incredible fireworks shows. The most famous is probably in Washington, D.C., where hundreds of thousands of people gather on the National Mall to watch fireworks explode over the monuments. But even small towns have their own displays, often over lakes or in local parks. Can you imagine the excitement? Families spread blankets on the grass. Kids run around with sparklers. Those are small handheld fireworks that create beautiful light patterns, and everyone looks up at the sky in wonder as colorful explosions light up the night. What I find really beautiful is how this day brings Americans together. Rich or poor, young or old, from big cities or small towns, everyone celebrates the same way. It's a reminder of shared values like freedom, democracy, and the right to pursue your dreams. So tell me, have you ever experienced an American July 4th celebration? What surprised you the most about it? Now let's head north to our neighbors in Canada for their special day, Canada Day. Here's Canada's unique story. Unlike the dramatic revolution we just heard about in America, Canada's path to nationhood was much more peaceful. In 1867, 3 separate British territories, Ontario, Quebec, Nova Scotia, and New Brunswick, decided to unite and create one country. This wasn't about fighting for independence from Britain, but rather about joining together to build something stronger and better. Think of it like 4 friends deciding to form a team. They're stronger together than apart. What makes Canada Day special is how it reflects Canadian values: unity, diversity, and peaceful cooperation. July 1st marks the beginning of modern Canada. And today, Canada includes 10 provinces and 3 territories, stretching from the Atlantic to the Pacific to the Arctic Ocean. So what happens on Canada Day? Let me take you on a virtual tour of a typical Canadian celebration. Picture this. You wake up on July 1st, and everywhere you look, you see red and white, Canada's national colors. But the most iconic symbol you'll see is the maple leaf. It's on the Canadian flag. And on Canada Day, people wear maple leaf pins, t-shirts, temporary tattoos, and even maple leaf-shaped sunglasses. It's absolutely everywhere. The celebrations are wonderfully Canadian, meaning they're friendly, inclusive, and often take place outdoors. In cities like Ottawa, the nation's capital, you'll find massive outdoor concerts on Parliament Hill, where famous Canadian musicians perform for hundreds of thousands of people. In smaller communities, local parks host family-friendly festivals with live music, food vendors, and activities for kids. Here's what I love about Canadian celebrations. They're incredibly welcoming to everyone. Canada is known for its multiculturalism, so on Canada Day, you'll hear music from around the world, taste foods from dozens of different cultures, and see people of all backgrounds celebrating together. It's like a giant friendly neighborhood party. Essential Canada Day phrases. Happy Canada Day. The standard greeting, simple and warm. Oh Canada. From their national anthem, you'll hear this everywhere. True North, strong and free. Another line from the anthem that Canadians love. EH. Happy birthday Canada. Using the famous Canadian EH makes it extra Canadian. Let's celebrate our beautiful country. Perfect for expressing Canadian pride. Now, let me share a typical Canada Day conversation.
What are you doing for Canada Day this year, Marco?
I'm going to the park with my friends. There's a live concert and they're serving maple cookies and beaver tails. Those are delicious pastries, shaped like a beaver's tail, covered in cinnamon and sugar. Plus, there are fireworks at night over the lake.
That sounds absolutely wonderful. Don't forget to wear red and white.
Of course, I've got my maple leaf t-shirt ready, and my sister made us maple leaf cupcakes. We're planning to have a picnic before the concert starts.
Perfect. And I heard there's going to be a citizenship ceremony too. New Canadians taking their oath.
Yes, it's so moving to watch. Seeing people from all over the world officially become Canadian citizens on Canada Day always makes me proud of our country's openness and diversity.
What makes Canada Day special is the emphasis on community and nature. Many celebrations happen in beautiful outdoor settings, beside lakes, in national parks, or in town squares surrounded by mountains. Canadians love their natural environment, and Canada Day often showcases this incredible landscape. And here's something really touching. Canada Day often features citizenship ceremonies where new immigrants officially become Canadian citizens. Imagine the emotion. People from countries around the world choosing Canada as their new home, taking their citizenship oath on the country's birthday. It's incredibly moving and represents everything Canada stands for. So I'm curious, what aspect of Canada Day appeals to you most? The outdoor concerts, the multicultural celebrations, or the sense of community? Now let's cross the Atlantic Ocean to France for one of the most dramatic and historically significant national days in the world. Bastille Day. This story is absolutely fascinating and a bit intense. On July 14, 1789, the French people had reached their breaking point. For years, they had lived under an unfair system where the rich nobles and clergy paid no taxes, while ordinary working people, farmers, shopkeepers, craftsmen, carried the entire tax burden. Meanwhile, they had no voice in government decisions that affected their lives. Can you imagine the frustration? You work hard every day, pay heavy taxes, but have absolutely no say in how your country is run. That's exactly how millions of French people felt in 1789. So what happened on that historic July 14th? Angry crowds of ordinary Parisians marched to the Bastille, a massive fortress and prison that represented royal authority and oppression. They didn't just want to complain, they wanted action. They stormed the Bastille, freed the prisoners, and took control of the weapons stored there. This wasn't just about one building. It was a powerful symbol that the people were taking control of their own destiny. This single act sparked the French Revolution, which completely changed not just France, but influenced democratic movements worldwide. The ideals of liberty, equality, fraternity that came from this revolution still inspire people fighting for freedom today. Now, here's how modern France celebrates this incredible moment in history. The celebration is absolutely spectacular and uniquely French. It starts with the most famous military parade in the world, right down the Champs-Élysées in Paris. Picture this. Thousands of soldiers in perfect formation, tanks and military vehicles, fighter jets screaming overhead leaving trails of red, white, and blue smoke, the colors of the French flag. It's powerful, impressive, and shows French pride and strength. But here's what I love most. After this formal military display, the real French celebration begins. The evening transforms into something magical. Cities and towns across France host incredible fireworks displays. The most famous is at the Eiffel Tower, where hundreds of thousands of people gather on the Champs d'Mars to watch fireworks explode around this iconic landmark. Can you imagine? The Eiffel Tower lit up with twinkling lights while colorful fireworks burst all around it. Essential Bastille Day phrases: Joyeux 14 Juillet, Happy July 14th, the traditional French greeting. Vive la France, Long live France, shows patriotic spirit. Let's go to the fireworks near the Eiffel Tower, perfect for tourists and locals. Liberté, égalité, fraternité. Liberty, equality, fraternity. France's national motto. The parade was magnificent, great for commenting on the military display, but here's something uniquely French and absolutely charming: the Bal des Pompiers, or Firemen's Balls. On the evening of July 13th and 14th, local fire stations across France open their doors and host street dances. Picture this: firefighters in uniform dancing with local residents, live bands playing everything from traditional French songs to modern pop music, and people of all ages dancing together in the streets until the early morning hours. It's incredibly romantic and community-focused. Young couples dance under string lights, children run around with sparklers, and neighbors who might not normally talk spend the evening chatting and laughing together. It perfectly captures the French love of life, community, and celebration. What makes Bastille Day special is how it balances serious historical remembrance with joyful celebration. The morning military parade honors those who fought and died for French freedom, while the evening celebrations focus on enjoying the liberty that those sacrifices made possible. And here's something that might surprise you: many French families use July 14th as a time for family reunions. Extended families gather for long, leisurely meals featuring traditional French foods, fresh bread, local cheeses, seasonal fruits, and regional specialties that vary by area. These meals can last for hours, with multiple courses and lots of conversation about everything from politics to family news. I find it beautiful how Bastille Day represents both the struggle for freedom and the celebration of achieving it. It reminds us that democracy and liberty aren't just gifts. They're achievements that require courage, sacrifice, and constant protection. So tell me, what aspect of Bastille Day interests you most? The historical significance, the impressive military parade, or the community street celebrations? Why these days matter. Now that we've traveled from America to Canada to France, let's step back and think about something really important. Why do these national days matter so much to people around the world? First, each country has its own special story. What we've seen today shows us three completely different paths to nationhood. America fought a revolutionary war for independence from British rule. Canada chose peaceful Confederation, uniting different territories to build something stronger together. France experienced a dramatic popular revolution that transformed not just their country, but influenced democratic movements worldwide. But here's what's fascinating. Even though these stories are different, they all share common themes that touch the human heart. They're about people wanting freedom to make their own choices. They're about unity, bringing people together for a common purpose. They're about hope, believing that the future can be better than the past. Think about it this way. When Americans watch fireworks on July 4th, they're not just enjoying pretty lights in the sky. They're connecting with the courage of those 13 colonies who dared to challenge the British Empire. When Canadians wear maple leaf clothing on July 1st, they're celebrating the wisdom of choosing cooperation over conflict. When French families dance in the streets during Bastille Day, they're honoring the ordinary people who changed the course of history. These celebrations do something really powerful. They help people feel connected to something bigger than themselves. In our modern world, where we might feel isolated or disconnected, national days remind us that we're part of a larger story, a community with shared values and common dreams. And here's what I find beautiful. These days showcase each country's unique culture and values. American Independence Day emphasizes individual freedom and the pursuit of happiness. Very American values. Canada Day highlights multiculturalism and peaceful cooperation. Perfectly Canadian. Bastille Day balances historical remembrance with joyful celebration, so distinctly French. But there's something else happening here that's really special. These celebrations welcome everyone. You don't have to be born in these countries to participate. Tourists, immigrants, international students, everyone is invited to join the festivities. It's like these countries are saying, come, learn about our story, share in our joy, and maybe understand us a little better. National days also preserve important memories and lessons. They remind us that the freedoms we enjoy today, the right to vote, to speak freely, to practice our religion, to build the life we want, these weren't just given to us. People fought for them, sacrificed for them, and sometimes died for them. And here's a question for you. How does your country celebrate its National Day? I'm genuinely curious. Do people gather in public squares for concerts and speeches? Do families have special meals with traditional foods? Are there religious ceremonies or cultural performances? Do children learn patriotic songs in school? Maybe your country has unique traditions that would surprise people from other cultures. Perhaps there are special colors everyone wears, traditional dances performed in the streets, or historical reenactments that bring the past to life. Every country's celebration reflects its unique personality and values. Tell us in the comments, what's one tradition from your country's National Day that you absolutely love? What makes you feel most proud of your homeland during these celebrations? Thank you so much for joining me on this journey around the world. We've experienced the spectacular fireworks of American Independence Day, felt the warm community spirit of Canadian Canada Day, and witnessed the dramatic history and joyful celebrations of French Bastille Day. What I hope you've learned today goes beyond just English vocabulary and phrases, though we've covered plenty of those. I hope you've gained a deeper appreciation for how different cultures celebrate their most important values: freedom, unity, democracy, and national pride. Remember these key phrases we learned. Happy 4th of July, perfect for American Independence Day. What are you doing for Canada Day? Great conversation starter for Canadian celebrations. Joyeux 14 Juillet, show your French language skills on Bastille Day. Let's watch the fireworks. Works for any celebration with fireworks. Tell us about your National Day. Perfect for learning about other cultures. Before you go, I have one final question for you, and I'd love for you to answer in the comments below. What's one thing you always do on your country's National Day? Maybe it's wearing certain colors, eating a special food, attending a particular event, or gathering with family. Share your tradition with our Easy English community. Every country has a story, and every story is beautiful to celebrate. Whether it's through parades or picnics, fireworks or family gatherings, military displays or street dances, these celebrations remind us of our shared humanity and our diverse ways of expressing joy, pride, and hope. If this video helped you learn something new about these amazing celebrations, or if it made you think about your own country's special day in a new way, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to Easy English for more videos that help you learn English while exploring fascinating topics from around the world. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep celebrating the beautiful diversity of our world. See you in the next video. Remember, every country has a story, and it's beautiful to celebrate it.